So this is Accra in Ghana. Now, I would like to talk about a few do's and don'ts when you visit Accra. And I am not saying these are either bad or good. I'm only describing them as they are so that you might know. And these are social or cultural issues, how we do things this part of the world that you might not be aware of. You, so I'm just trying to let you know about them so that at least your stay here will be, so at least your stay here will be as smooth as possible. Ghanaians are very hospitable people, and foreigners, strangers, and visitors to Ghana are often welcomed with open arms and embraced in a culture rich with warmth, respect, and hospitality. So, Ghanaian society places a very high value on respect and politeness. You know, one of the foremost aspects of Ghanaian culture is the concept of respect for elderly people or even people that look older than you do. So, for example, um, it is hard for people don't call you Mister or Miss or Mrs. They like to call you by your first name, but if you look older, they like to add the title auntie or uncle, for example. So do not be surprised to be called uncle by a stranger in Ghana, somebody that you have never met. And never ever say to a child when a child refers to you as uncle or auntie, never say, but I'm not your uncle to the child, because that would be shocking to the child. That would be disrespectful and that would hurt. You know, because this is a cultural practice in Ghana that is deeply ingrained. Politeness is deeply ingrained in Ghanaian society, and visitors are expected to adapt and adhere to these culture's behaviors in all interactions. So this includes using polite language such as please and thank you, and refraining from raising one's voice or engaging in confrontational behavior. So, like I said before, if somebody refers to you as uncle or auntie, never say that no, I'm not your uncle, or that will be very disrespectful in Ghanaian society. And even people that are of the same age refer to each other as a brother and sister. So, for example, you could be called, if you're called, a stranger could call you a bra, and then add your first name to it. You know, Bra Daniel, or or Sister Jane, something like that. That is the kind of practice prevalent in Ghana. In Ghana, maintaining a calm and composed demeanor, even in challenging situations, is valued and demonstrates maturity and respect for others. Hospitality is at the core of Ghanaian culture, and visitors can't expect to be treated with warmth and generosity. It is common for Ghanaians to offer food and drinks to strangers as a gesture of hospitality, and it is considered polite to accept such offerings graciously. So also bear in mind that when you're invited to somebody's home, sometimes visitors are expected to remove their shoes before entering. So it's safe to just follow the lead of their host in terms of some of these customs. So, um, generally speaking, I would say that respect for cultural norms and customs is paramount when you visit Ghana. Um, Dressing modestly is important, you know, particularly in certain in homes and certain areas and during certain ceremonies. It shows respect for local customs and practices. Additionally, never do this. Never show well, public displays of affection um, is acceptable, but it has limits because you cannot, for example, kiss in public. That is mostly considered to be inappropriate. You never kiss in public. You can hug and everything, display public um, um, affection, but you never kiss in public. That is a no-no. That is not done in Accra or in Ghana. Um, Visitors to Ghana are mostly expected to embrace the culture of respect and politeness. That means a lot in Ghanaian society. You know, Ghanaians appreciate the demonstration of humility, courtesy, and an appreciation for local customs and and practices. And visitors can forge meaningful connections with the people of Ghana and Accra and enrich their travel experience in this vibrant and welcoming country if they're able to do that. Now, Ghana as a place that has no entrenched smoking culture. Ghana has no entrenched smoking culture. It's a place where you can live for an entire year without meeting one person smoking. Now, the reason is because it is not socially acceptable in Ghana to be seen smoking in public. I think it's fair to say that people generally regard smokers when they see them as delinquents. So if you're a smoker and you visit Ghana, it is not illegal to smoke. You can smoke wherever in public. There are policies that restrict smoking in certain areas in Ghana, so you'd have to find that out. But generally speaking, people do not like smokers in Ghana. So, like I said, it's people would regard smokers as delinquents and you know bad characters. So it's better that you smoke indoors, and it's worse if you are female. Let me just say that it is absolutely unacceptable in Ghanaian culture for a female to be seen smoking. So if you're female and you smoke and you visit Ghana, it is better that you do that indoors and not to be seen smoking um, in public. That is not to say that it is harmful to do that, apart from your health, of course. But that doesn't mean that you're going to get confronted by someone if you're seen smoking. It is just that people look down on it and people find it to be unacceptable. And truth be told, it tends to affect um, the level of respect that people have for you when they see you smoking. But not in all cases now. The next thing that I would probably mention is something that you might have heard already. Never offer something. When you're giving something to someone, do not use your left hand. Use your right hand. That is another cultural practice in Ghana. It is viewed as disrespectful sometimes when you give something, especially to an elderly person, using your left hand. Now, when you're in Ghana, try and relax a bit and don't get hung up on time. People in Ghana do not get hung up on time, and there's a reason for it. Ghana doesn't have an efficient public transport system intra-city, inside the cities. So, for example, if you have to move from point A to B, you cannot really predict when you will get from A to B, because if you do not have your own vehicle, you are at the mercy of these informal public transports, and they do not adhere to any form of time schedule. So that's an important consideration, and that to me is one of the most the big contributors to people in Ghana being seen as not adhering to to time schedules. But try and relax a bit. Do not get too fixated on specific times when you are in Ghana. And also try not to complain too much when you are in Accra or anywhere else in Ghana. You know, when you're from outside the country and you come in, there are things that are going to be different. Some of them will be good, others might be not so good. But try not to complain too much, because Ghanaians have had a lot to deal with. Generally, people expect that you would be more tolerant and complain less, because if you complain too much and if you talk a lot, people see you to be insensitive and arrogant, and that is disrespectful to them. So that's another thing to bear in mind. Like we've said already, people in Ghana tend to be very, very tolerant people, and they expect that other people are just like that as well. So, talking too much and complaining about issues too much makes people see you as being intolerant and insensitive, and that comes out as being disrespectful. And lastly, in Ghana, remember never to forget to greet when you see someone that you might have met before, or even strangers. Always greet. People expect you to greet when you meet. Always greet, or at least say hi. And that also is an important practice and an important aspect of social interaction in Ghana. Now, never accept the when you're taking a taxi in Accra, never take the first you are expected to always bargain on the fare. So you do not take the first one the driver says, you always bargain and try to beat it down. Always beat down the taxi fare. Now you don't do that with the trotro, the minibuses. You don't bargain in the minibuses. You don't bargain with Uber or Bolt or Yango, but you always are expected to bargain down your taxi fare. So never forget to do that. But here is the thing to remember, that you discuss and come to an agreement about the fare beforehand, before you sit in the taxi, before it begins to move. Now this is very important, because if you sit in a taxi without coming to a conclusion about the fare until you get to your destination, or even midway to wherever you're going, that's gonna be a big problem, because then the driver will not be ready to bargain. So you stop the taxi and you straight away start to bargain about the fare. That's what you do here in Accra. You bargain and reach an agreement about the fare before the taxi begins to move with you in it. So that's a particularly important tip. So you never do otherwise. That's important.
I think you want first and second.